Chingo Bling, man. Chingo Bling's a fucking sellout.
Yeah.
He used to be the tamale king and this and that.
They did an article on this this Brooklyn-based thing. I've actually worked with them before, but all of a sudden they did an article. It's like Little Pump, Chingo Bling, and ¿cómo se llama? Tito Ortiz, Latinos pushing disinformation. And you're wanting to fight the world. You wanted to defend. I'm like, man, that's not even what it was. That's not what I said. That's not how I meant it. And you're trying to like fight the world. And, you know, when you have that strong backbone, you know, of a female in your life that can be steadfast and have a good strategy. Like, look, we got to stay focused, eye on the prize. We don't know if the career's over because of this. We don't know. Like, for example, people sometimes want to be like, well, your beliefs are bad for la raza, bad for minorities, stuff like that. Yeah, I was DJ Biz, B-I-Z.
So what you get? DJ Biz on the mic today out in Houston. Come on now.
Yeah, what's up, man? Shout out to the South Side. And that's where the Chingo Bling persona was born, because I'd be like, yo, damn, man, my primo's here, man. He's from Mexico. Hold on, man, this fool's always late. Nah, we're going to come back after commercial. No, espérate, güey, ya llegué. And the...
All right, everybody, you guys know what it is. It's the one and the only, the American Cholo podcast, broadcasting where? From North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil, and I am the American Cholo. And enough about me. Today, we got a special one for you today, man. People might trip out on it. I'm sure he is, or maybe I have to call him Day nowadays, you know. Our next guest is a comedian, rapper, podcaster, and of course, the Tamale King. Let's give a warm hand to the one and only Chingo Bling.
Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, Chingo? ¿Cómo estás, carnal?
Finally,
fool.
Estamos.
I thought we were gonna be here to duke it out, fool. But now you look, you've been working out too much,
Hell
Chingo.
no.
You might take me, fool.
I'm a white belt. I am a white belt with 2 stripes.
So hey, let's get to your history, man. Where were you born and raised at, carnal?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Yes,
And
sir.
talk to me how you come from a big family. You know, I want to see what made Chingo the man he is today.
No, not a big family. Just 2 older sisters. My sister Pat is 10 years older. My sister Dalila is 13 years older. So I was like the little escuincle that had like 3 moms. So it's funny story. When I got in the rap game, it was like a family affair. You know, like in the beginning, you might see like my parents dropping off packages, you know, for like orders and stuff. My sister's on the phone with record stores. My other sister's like head of security, because it never fails. At some car show, somebody's always jealous, and there's like a rumor like, yeah, man, they want to jump you, man, you blowing up too fast or something. And then my sister Pat be having to, you know, bring her high school type of peleonera type vibe.
You ain't messing with my brother.
Yeah, little bro, yeah. So, overprotective, you know, at times, but shit, now that I'm in my 40s, bro, like, ya se calmaron.
Now
like.
you can take it, huh?
Yeah.
So I did some homework on you, and I didn't know that when you were a young guy, you ended up taking off from your hometown and going to, was it Newark?
No, Hightstown, New Jersey.
Okay,
the high school.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I did 4 years
In the
prep
pinta?
school. Hey, dude, like this was like the complete opposite of anything pinta-ish. Like the only difficult thing was just kind of like the trauma of being 13 and seeing your family drive off in a rent-a-car back to the airport, and you're like, oh, this shit's really happening. So long story short, I went to public school for elementary and middle. My middle school was like, they called it Vanguard, so it was like magnet, basically.
Right.
And in 8th grade, this organization called ABC, A Better Chance, they what they do is they go to inner cities and they pick kids that have potential and try to get them like full rides and scholarships at these fancy prep schools on the East Coast. So they came to my middle school and they went to the Vanguard program, whatever, our classes and shit, and they handed us some letters, like 15 kids, me and like 14 other of my friends. And pretty much we all read it, and we're all like, what? Who the hell's gonna go to high school out of state? Like, bro, we're from here. We don't know nobody over there. Like, this is so dumb. So everybody just threw it away. I threw it in my backpack. I didn't think nothing of it. My older sister, Dalila, she like saw it, and she's like, oh, this sounds like a good opportunity. They're gonna have like a seminar, something like that, for the parents and everybody. So they did a presentation. They're showing like these beautiful campuses, look like universities. Like, dude, if you look up right now how much it costs to go to Petty school, Peddie, it's, bro, I don't know what it went up to, 40 grand a year. I don't know what it is, but I got a free ride. So we went to the seminar thing, and my sister was like, "Oh, let's look into it. We got to fill out the application." So me on purpose, I didn't want to go, so I didn't fill it out. Like I purposely missed the deadline. And then she, of course, she's like kind of like, oh, watching my back. And she's like, hey, what happened to that thing? Did you do the essay and did you fill out the paperwork? I was like, nah, it looks like I missed the deadline. And then she's like, well, let me call them. Let me see what they say. And sure enough, they're like, no, they'll still take it. You just got to write that essay real quick. We got to fill out the paperwork. And then I got accepted into 2 schools, one in North Carolina. It wasn't a full ride. And the one in New Jersey was a full ride. And up until the point that even when we landed, even when we're there, like, oh, we're gonna show you the dorms, and they separate the kids from the parents, like Trump, like Trump. That's fucked up. Now, like when they talk to the parents, and they were like, hey, so your kids are gonna be homesick, and in the dorm there's a payphone in the like in the hallway. You don't have your own restroom or nothing. Everything's like communal or whatever, Right. So anyway, it wasn't like, was it CYA?
CYA.
It wasn't like CYA,
you were
bro.
in the dorm, homie.
Yeah, I was in the dorm, I was doing my burpees.
Making sure you don't get pucked for your shit.
Yeah, but anyway, long story short, man, I hated it at first. It was like traumatic because I'm like, bro, I'm 13. I got to wash my own clothes. I got to do my own homework. Like, nobody's there really, like, from my family. I don't know anybody out here. But then I started making friends, and my friend's mom, she really looked out for me. My friend Jason, his mom, Miss Debbie, bro, like, she would always make sure, like, hey, it's Easter weekend. Everyone's going to be off campus except, like, the foreigners, the kids from Japan, the kids from Saudi Arabia, and Chingo.
Damn.
and Lil Pete.
So you had people there with money.
Yeah, they were, like, filthy rich, bro. Most of the people. A lot of the kids, too, a percentage were, like, scholarships. Some were, like, from the hood and shit.
Did you have to get certain grades to qualify for that?
To get in on the free ride, man, they had to just see something in you. You had to do an interview. They had to kind of accept you. But yeah, I think your grades had to be good.
Were your grades pretty decent?
Yeah, all through public school as a little kid, it was pretty like 90s, A's.
Okay, so your parents were on you, or you were just a smart kid all the time?
It was just kind of.
Was school easy for you?
I guess. At the time, yeah, it probably wasn't that challenging. Public school wasn't that.
Right. So when you were there, did you ever experience anybody like looking down on you because they look at you like this poor guy from Houston, poor Mexicano or something?
Well, you know what, bro? A lot of people, when they would hear Texas, the image that the movies put in their head, they were like, Texas. They're like, bro, you ride a horse to school? Like, do y'all put horns on the front of y'all's Cadillacs? Which, some of the rappers do. But they'd be like, man, y'all got bullhorns on y'all stuff? Like, is it all desert? Is it tumbleweeds? And I was like, no, we're the 4th largest city, super diverse, big metropolis, a lot of traffic, skyscrapers.
Man, you were selling Texas like a governor.
Yeah. Excellent education.
So when you were going to school there, I mean, were you dabbling in rap? Where did that come into your life?
Oh, man, thanks for asking that. So we were in New Jersey, but we could pick up Hot 97 from New York. So we were listening to like new artists, Fugees, new artists, Wu-Tang Clan, brand new artists, Jay-Z, new artists, DMX. We're interviewing this new guy named Nas. And I'm just like in 9th grade, like, bro, what is all this? And of course, I mean, I grew up experiencing hip hop as a kid in Houston, mainly like TV or seeing, like, for example, you might see Kid Frost on MTV, This Is For La Raza. Or I might see, like, my older sisters, when they were in high school, all their friends outside, like, breakdancing and DJing and all that kind of stuff. You had, like, graffiti crews or whatever. So I was kind of exposed to it, and I liked it. As a little kid, I would listen to, like, Public Enemy and, KRS-One. And, of course, Houston has always had a crazy music scene. But in New Jersey, me and I clicked up with like the minorities, like the Puerto Rican and the black kids.
Right.
And it was like one other Mexican at our school, but he was like from Mexico. Like he was from the motherland. Yeah, Mexican. And he was valedictorian, bro.
Really?
So el Paco, el Francisco, man, he won any Hispanic achievement, all that. So
he was there to get his.
Yeah, no, he was really on it. I was just like having fun, making friends, and like being silly, talking mess.
Whatever happened to Paco?
Man, dude, some of my friends, they'll be like, bro, you wouldn't be surprised if Paco was like president of Mexico or like,
He might be running the cartel.
hey,
His dad sent him over there to do the books.
yeah, you got to cook the books, bro. He was super smart. Yeah, for real.
That's dope. That probably helped you out a little bit. That way, say, hey man, these guys are coming in. You guys actually probably put on for the raza whether you knew it or not.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only representation of Mexicans. And I remember too, like one of my best friends, Jason, I remember when it was like a couple days before school actually started, they were just still making us like break the ice, like little parties, like, oh, they're gonna have a DJ at the the community, whatever, the quad
Center,
and the
right.
commons, yeah, whatever. And so we're walking and he's like, hey, so what are you or what? And I was like, oh, I'm Mexican. He's like, no, you're not. I was like, bro, how you gonna tell me? I'm like, I'm Mexican. He's like, nah, Mexicans are shorter, they darker. And I was like, I am short. He's like, nah, they real short. It's because what it was, bro, is he was only exposed to like Pueblo, gente de like Puebla, Mexico,
Right,
like
right.
Puebla, York, like the cats,
very native ones.
Yeah, the cats that be in the kitchen in the back in New York, and that was his idea of like, no, that's what Mexicans are.
And what was your idea when you went over there and now you're looking at certain like white folk that you've never been around? So what was your stereotype of them and what did you end up learning from them?
Man, that's when I realized I was po. Dude, I had no idea. I was just like, yeah, this is, the way we live. That's how most people live. It's like working class and, your house has this many bedrooms. It only got one bathroom and, your neighbor's house is right there and your neighbor's house right there, whatever. And then you start to see like, wait, your dad owns all the car dealerships on the East Coast? Or like, yo, your uncle's in the United Nations thing. And, so it ranged.
It opened your eyes that the world's much larger, right?
Yeah, brother. It was like culture shock to sum up that entire experience. But I will say this, like the first year or so, like I was in my head, I kept feeling like almost like a victim because for whatever reason, I don't know, I must have just, maybe that's how I dealt with the trauma or whatever,
Right.
but I was insecure or something. But like, for whatever reason, I felt that I was only there to make their experience more valuable. Like I almost felt like, man, they probably handed y'all a brochure and they like, man, we got real Mexicans, we got minorities, we got 2 Mexicans. And I just had that in my head and I just kind of had that chip on my shoulder, really. It was a chip on my shoulder. And then once I flipped the script and I reframed it like, wait, all this like manicured grass and the art building and what they got to offer in all these places and all these connections, they're here for you too. Like,
Right.
regardless of how you're here and how the reason why you're here, at the end of the day, you're here and you're a student. You know what I'm saying? So
Throughout your whole, let's say, educational career, because you ended up going to college as well, right?
yeah, I did another 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you got 8 years under him.
Hey,
baby.
bro, I lived in the dorm for 8 years, bro.
Is there any teacher or any person that mentors you that stands out to you that really kind of shaped you to go a certain way?
Yeah, man, I brought this dude up the other day. I had an art teacher named Mr. Trelease, and I remember one time asking him, I was like, hey, man, how could I do this for a living? He's like, what you mean? Like, do what? And I'm like, art. And he's like, for a living? I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I like this. And he's like, ooh, maybe you could like draw diagrams for like a medical book or something, but there really ain't a lot of money in this type of
Right.
stuff. And I'm like, man, it was such a letdown. But I remember he taught us like this concept called artistic license, that once you say I'm an artist, you're giving yourself permission to take chances and be bold and justify what you're doing in your art, whether it's music, performance, or whatever. Like, you're an artist, you have permission to do stuff.
So that kind of gave you confidence, like I can go ahead and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
What did you go to college for?
My major was business administration, but I don't really recommend college, man. It was just debt. I have a 15-year-old, and she's always like, well, Dad, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I heard that if I'm in National Honor Society, it might be good for colleges. And I'm like, no. Like, man, like, I'm pushing trades in my house. I'm pushing, like, you got to have skills. You got to have a talent stack, like a variety of skills to where people want to pay for, like, a service, things like that.
But what does business? I hear people take that a lot. Business. What? Give me a quick breakdown. If you're selling the college business course, what exactly they teach you there?
if you're me, you're avoiding accounting. You're trying to avoid like finance. You're that's why I went into like marketing, because I'm like, bro, I still want to be creative, so I was like, advertising sounds cool, but that ain't really like a major where I went. So the closest thing was like business administration with a concentration in marketing. But basically, bro, it depends which kind of en qué te quieres enfocar, like which part you want to really focus on. So a lot of people that are good at numbers and math and all that, they might do finance to go become like a banker or something. Some might do like accounting.
Something boring.
Yeah, with a lot of equations and numbers and stuff,
So, Chingo Bling, well, I'll bring this up pretty quick. It's kind of cool to hear you say how you went and did the 4 years here and the 4 years there. And that's why I tell people, like, they ask, well, why did you become a gang member? Why did you do this? I said, dude, it's who you grow up, who you watch, who you see, like when
environment.
The environment. So your environment was, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to do 4 years here. I'm going to do 4 years here. So it kind of shows people that, if you go whatever route. Did you ever have any friends that you came back to and they were on a complete different route than you?
Man, bro, preach. There's no telling. I'm not saying that que iba a andar de malías or nothing like that, but the fact that I got, like in 8th grade, I literally got put in a different situation, and then you come back, and then that's when you start to see like, oh, homegirl got pregnant, or my homeboy got somebody pregnant, or somebody did some time, or people got in trouble, hang with the wrong crowd. And there's just really no telling like what route one could have taken, because like I just finished telling you, I have 2 older sisters, but it's not like I had a big brother that was in the game type of thing, like me rolling with him like the little peewee.
Right.
So that wasn't my experience, but I could definitely see like, especially like my neighborhood, bro, like Southeast Houston. Really, there's a lot of hoods in Houston, but like in Grando Park, Southeast Houston, Pecan Park, like it was a lot of little, gang activity.
It was like out here in the 90s, everything was kind of popping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're actually one of the lucky ones that came out of there. You feel fortunate to come out of that?
Yeah, man. I appreciate my entire journey. I embrace it all. I don't like when I first got into the rap game, because I was a college radio DJ first. Okay. So that was kind of like the bridge to get my foot in the door. But when I decided like, well, I guess I have to be an artist. Because for the longest, I was like, man, I just want to be behind the scenes. I'm like A&R, maybe the DJ, but I want to like manage the artist. Like I was real fascinated with the business side of it. But eventually I was like, man, some of these artists lazy, knuckleheaded. They don't want to listen. They don't want to take direction. So I was like, man, let me do this,
Right.
And be silly with it. And of course, when I decided to be an artist, I was like, man, I gotta have a different angle, because I'm the schoolboy. I'm not gonna be.
So are you still in college when you're doing this and trying to decide to be an art or make that choice?
Yeah, I was in college in San Antonio, doing college radio. So I had like so obviously college radio, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna play like, it's like jazz music or classical, depending on what school you go to, right? I think like in San Antonio College, they might play like a little bit of rock or something. But anyway, where I went, Trinity University, they just played jazz and classical, because they got a lot of local donations from like old rich people. They're like, oh, I love that station. They send some money. But I pitched a show to the program director. I was like, hey, man, I want to have a hip hop show. And he's like, okay, what you got in mind? I kind of broke it down. The whole time I'm thinking like, he's going to say no, bro. And then he's like, all right, man, well, only slot I got is Sunday midnight, like midnight to 2, something like that. And I was like, okay, you mean, but I get to go on air? He's like, yeah, but I mean, it's a shitty time. I was like, oh, I'll take it. And what he didn't know is that at the time in San Antonio, that's when everybody was out cruising. Like it was a Military Drive on the south side. And it's like Freaknik. It's like, I don't know what the equivalent is out here. Like what?
Hollywood, Whittier Boulevard, stuff like
Whittier,
that.
yeah. But out here is probably like a lot of Lolos. Out there it was like twerking and and like, hey, go to the parking lot of the AutoZone. The cops, they're at the Taco Bell parking lot. Let's go down that way. Hey, nomás dando la vuelta, quemando gas, just wasting gas. But I was on the air at that time, so I was showing love to the local artists. You know what I mean? So I would tell them, hey, I'm going to play your stuff. Like, let people know we're about to play it. So now they're kind of like my street team out there. And they tell everybody, hey, put it on 91.7. Put it on 91.7. and they're everyone's switching the dial, and then they start hearing all this like independent, underground, local, Texas stuff, like big artists that just weren't like people you heard of, like Lil Flip, like all these big artists that were just kind of bubbling in the underground. They weren't really like mainstream.
They were probably just hot right there, but they hadn't hit the nationwide yet.
And then when we would play nationwide music, it was, for example, the big pop station in town, they might be playing the first single off the Outkast album, like Bombs Over Baghdad. And then on our station, we're like, yo, new joint, Outkast, you'll hear it 6 months from now on the other station. And it's like, Sorry, Miss Jackson. So we're playing I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson, boom, boom, boom. And it got to the point where the big station called the school. It's like, hey, you know, I don't know who that little dude is, but he's trying to undermine what we got going on. And I'm just like, yo, I'm just a college student, and you know, I got their attention, and that means we're doing something good.
Absolutely. Now, give me the radio voice in the intro to one of those Sunday night shows. Come on, Chingo, let's do it.
It's the Hip Hop Chop Shop. No, I can't do it. I'm rusty.
What was your DJ name?
Yeah, I was DJ Biz, B-I-Z.
So what you get? DJ Biz on the mic today out in Houston. Come on now.
Yeah, what's up, man? Shout out to the South Side. And that's where the Chingo Bling persona was born, because I'd be like, yo, damn, man, my primo's here, man. He's from Mexico. Hold on, man, this fool's always late. Nah, we're going to come back after commercial. No, espérate, güey, ya llegué. And the phones would light up.
They like the Chingo Bling.
They're like, hey, that fool's crazy, because
They thought it was really...
Because I'd rap. I think some people knew it's DJ Biz doing it. But basically, like, anytime I would, like, just do some silly stuff with the Chingo character, or I'd have him rap or whatever, start getting, like, a little identity crisis where you're like, damn, which voice, who am I? But when I saw the phones light up and the feedback, I was like, yo. And then local artists were like, yo, you know, you're funny, bro. Do some skits on our album. And I did a variety of characters and voices and scenarios and shit for the artists. Right. And then when I did the Chingo Bling one, I hadn't named it yet. So I came out the booth. They're all laughing. I was like, yo, when I do that one, that's Chingo Bling. And they're like, what? I was like, Chingo Bling. They're like, what the hell? That's a crazy name. What are you talking about? I was like, okay, perfect. That's the reaction.
Where'd you come up with that name?
Honestly, bro, it just kind of like popped in my head when I was doing those skits where to me, it was like the perfect name because I felt like it had a ring to it. It had a little bit of Spanish, and it also had like the bling, like the southern hip hop. And I was like, oh, okay, this is how I can kind of like, almost like clown the southern rap, like, because everybody was trying to be gangster. Everybody was like cooking dope and the stove and the Pyrex and this and the beakers and everyone's talking about cooking this and whipping that. And I'm like, yo, my family sold tamales. I was like, yo, I'm about to be the tamale kingpin.
Now, how long did it take you to start dressing up in the whole outfit?
Man, I was so scared when I first put it on. It was probably some like local San Antonio show where like I was gonna make an appearance, and I was literally like about to throw up, like the Eminem song, where I was just in my head. I was young and I was wearing all this silly, crazy stuff that I pieced together, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, man, they're not gonna get it, bro. They're not ready for this. And some of my friends, they remember to this day, like I was just like, man, I don't know, like, man, they're not gonna get it, man, and it's like I had to force myself to like, bro, just get in there, because I had to like, I think, host the concert. And a couple big names were supposed to be in the house. And I'm like, dude, I've never done this. And it was just nerve-wracking, bro.
I bet.
But then little by little, like, dude, it was to the point where some of my friends, like, for example, Lucky Luciano, shout out to him. He'd be like, bro, I'll bet you right now, I'll give you $20 right now if you walk into that grocery store and, like, buy the beer, dress like that. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? And they'd get a kick out of it because it was so out of this world. And then he, like, we were gonna go to a club and I show up with my gear and they're like, come on, man, you wearing that like to the club? Like, oh man, come on, bro, you can't be wearing that. I was like, yeah, man, I'm a rocket. And then as soon as we pull up, it was like one of the hottest clubs, and there's like a line, and we're like getting ready to go hop in the line. We're just like young kids in the rap game. And then one of the bouncers is like, hey man, you Chingo Bling? I was like, yeah. And then they're like, come on. And all of a sudden they're like, yo, you gotta wear that shit again. Like, bring the hat.
What did your mom and sisters think about the Chingo Bling outfit when you first saw it?
Dude, I was just so ratchet. I was so ratchet and so ghetto and I'm shy in real life. So they've just kind of known me as like this, the little kid, and, all my tías, ¿qué van a decir las tías de México? You know what I mean? Like, nos van a criticar. Like, I'm sure they were just like, bro, like, man, what are you doing? Like, what the hell's going, like, rapper? You went to college. Right. Like, we sacrifice, you have like $1 million education damn near, whatever, if you add it all up.
Right.
And it's like, out of all didn't you went to school? What'd they teach you? Like, isn't there a job you could do? Especially fresh out of college, because I was super unemployed. So it was like little jobs, like little temporary stuff, like temp agency, sweeping the popcorn at AMC. My brother-in-law got me a job at when they were building Minute Maid where the Astros play.
Right.
Sorry, I know that's a bad name to say around here.
Yeah.
Los cheaters, ya
los cheaters,
hey, los cheaters ya los mandaron para otros equipos, güey. They traded all the cheaters. Ahora sí.
Después de Chito.
Yeah, they were hitting trash cans and shit. They was playing the conga. Hey, but y'all should have picked up on the Morse code, bro. Like,
they should have.
Why every time the Venezuelans on our team always like, Venezuelans, man.
So what was the worst job you ever did?
Worst job? Oh, man.
Was there one you would wake up and be like, man, I don't want to go to work today?
I'd always make friends and stuff. I'd always have fun either way. Like I was telling you, that was a construction job, but I was cleanup crew at the Minute Maid.
Right.
So I always tell like my wife and kids, like we went to an Astros game the other day, and I'm like, your daddy helped build all this, right? And I was here before the seats, mija. But true story, like they had me measure the rails where the retractable roof was gonna move, right. And they're like, you sure, son? Read it again. I'm like, man, I know how to use a measuring tape. Like, I'm not handy at all to this day, but that's what it says. Like, are you holding it right? Yeah. So long story short, that's when they figured out that something was slightly off, and the roof wasn't gonna close. Oh, so they had to go up there and fix stuff.
So you engineered that, Chingo?
Pretty much. I contributed significantly.
After your family finds out you're Chingo, they're getting ready to disown you because you threw your whole career away. Yeah. How long after that did you finally were able to not come and say, hey, I got all this money, but I'm finally in the positive. I'm starting to see a return on this investment. Chingo Bling.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
Yeah, appreciate that. So back in the day, before the Rodecaster, they had this Roland used to make these like studio in a box. Like if you couldn't afford a computer and Pro Tools and all that, because Pro Tools was like brand new, they had this little computer like Roland portable studio. So my mom had got me one of those because she was like, all right, I see you want to do this rap thing. What do you need? Because you're having to go rent studio time and you don't have your own stuff. I was like, well, they sell this little thing or whatever. So once I was able to pay her back for that, she's like, okay, you're making some kind of like some little moves. So basically, it came to a crossroads where we had the talk where she's basically like, look, you're under my roof. You ain't got no job. Like she's on my ass. Like, go to the temp agency, see what they have. Like push yourself, apply yourself. Come on, like you're not showing no ambition, no motivation. Because in my mind, it's like, man, I already know what I want to do.
Right.
I don't want to have a real job and a real boss. So she was just on my ass to the point where I had Baby Bash invited me to be on this DVD to be like the comic relief of this road trip DVD where he went around kicking it with different artists and DJs. So we went on this crazy road trip, came back. It wasn't a big budget. I was pretty much broke the same way I was when I left. And she was on my ass, dude. And I had to she was on my ass so much that I had to get on Bash. And that's like my big homie. So I had to be like, hey, bro. Hey, man, oh, man, come on, bro. Like, man, I appreciate you connecting me with all these people, man, but I need something. And I kind of came at him sideways, a little greasy. But that was that turning point where, like, she was putting so much pressure on me where I said, look, give me a year. Like, I'm already getting feedback. Like, people seem to be interested. Like, somebody might want to buy a verse. I think they're going to book me for a show. Like, I'm trying to show that there's some progress. And sure enough, like, little by little, like, okay, he's making some moves. Like, there's some traction there.
Right. And then it finally started kicking in after that, or what?
Yeah.
So after how many years would you say you actually finally started booking, like, your own stuff where you're making decent amount of money to, get an apartment and start living off of it?
It might have been about, I don't know if it was about 2 years maybe. My memory, it's such a blur, all that whole time. Because honestly, bro, when I was on MTV with Sway, I was feeding tamales to Sway. I had my rooster. I had the Monte Carlo with the pop trunk.
Right.
And I don't know if I owned a house yet, but I was living at my mom, like under my parents' roof
Right.
still. So I might have had some investments, and I mean, obviously I had like some jewelry and like a car or whatever.
That's the first thing you
Yeah,
buy.
yeah, stupid shit, right? But at the same time too, it's like, man, I just need, like, I was working so much. It's like I just need a place to crash. Like, I don't need to have all this maintenance and upkeep of like a home or whatever.
Was there ever a time that you felt like, screw this, I need to get like a real job?
Shit, last week. Let me see. Nah, I always was trying to hang in there. Like, even if it's like ups and downs or any slow seasons, it's like, man, something's gonna come.
What's the slow season for comedians, man?
Oh, well, shit.
Like for construction, our slow season is like in the wintertime because it's raining.
Yeah. So some comics, some touring comics, they'll take off like obviously holidays because, you know, it's hard to be touring when people are so consumed with holidays and family. But a lot of comedians too, they'll do a New Year's show. Sometimes they'll do like like my buddy Ali Sadiq, he'll do like this Jive Turkeys show where it's like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Houston Improv, and it's just like heavy hitters. But yeah, it's usually like holidays, like, you know, mid-January when people feel like, you know, the fans start to have, you know, they can juggle a little bit more. But like right now, it's like back to school, and you're always up against something,
right?
You know.
Now that you've gone a good chunk of your journey, is there, and you've hung around all kinds of celebrities, is there anybody that you were like completely starstruck that you were around and like, man, this is where I'm at right now?
Oh man, a few times. I mean, I've got to meet like Russell Simmons, like P. Diddy. Master P called me randomly because a producer that I knew at the time, he's like, hey, it's a funny story. So Pitbull was starting to make some like real traction. So I happened to be in Miami, and Pitbull was like, hey man, walk the red carpet with us. We're doing the MTV red carpet. So I'm like the plus one. I'm not. Right. It's not my deal. Nobody knows me. But he's like, put on a suit, walk it with us. They're gonna take pictures of you. I'm like, damn, thanks. And we're all loaded like in this big SUV with the AC full blast because it's like August in Miami, and we're wearing suits. I'm just like, oh my God, come on, Pitt, why you got us wearing suits, bro? And then my phone rings, and it's the producer from Houston, and he's like, hey man, I'm here with Master P, and he's looking for some new talent. I told him about you here, and I'm like, hello. He's like, hey, what's up, Master P? And he's like, man, what you got going on right now? I'm like, oh, man, I'm about to walk this red carpet for MTV in Miami. He's like, oh, okay, well, it sounds like you got too much going on. I'm looking for, like, up-and-comers. And he, like, passed the phone. I was like, no. Espérate, wait. You know, I'm the plus one.
So that they were your Master P fucking record deal.
That was it, bro. We couldn't be friends. Like, that was it.
Did you ever get offered any record deals? And was it for Chingo Bling that they wanted the record deal?
Yeah.
So how did that?
It's always him.
It's always him.
I always want. What about the man behind Chingo Bling?
Did you ever take any of those?
I ended up signing a distribution deal with Asylum Records, and at the time they had like Swisher House, Lil Boosie, Webby. So they were like a gritty boutique label up under like Atlantic and Warner Brothers. So when we would go meet with them in New York, the way they would explain it to us is like, man, Warner Brothers is like the parent company. Then you have like Atlantic Records, which is like big budget still. And then it's Asylum, where it's a little bit more gritty, where it's like you still got budgets, but they're really trying to build you up to see if you can be
make it to the major leagues.
Upstreamed, yeah, upstream. But I went with them because I was telling all the other labels no, because they were like artist contracts, where it's like, hey, we'll give you $400,000 or something, but you know, I mean, you're not gonna have creative control, and you're not gonna like own your shit. So I was like, nah, I want to own my masters, because I just knew that owning the intellectual property at the end of the day, that was like a good look. So, like, for example, P. Diddy was like, hey, we'll put you on Bad Boy Latino, not Bad Boy Records.
You're going to be Bad Boy Latino.
At the time, everything was Wu-Tang Latino. Everybody had a Latino division.
Right.
And that drove me nuts. So, as much as I, admired P. Diddy, I was like, nah, man, I can't do it. But we had meetings with, like, Capitol Records. We met all kinds of people, Lear Cohen, all kinds of people. But all the stuff that I was demanding, it was unheard of. So when I was asking P. Diddy, like, hey, man, can I get my master's? People that were guiding me are like, bro, he doesn't even own his masters.
Oh, man.
Like, he's up under Clive Davis, J Records or whoever, Arista. Like, Bad Boy was up under some other shit. And he's like, he don't even own his shit. It's just Biggie blew up, and he's trying to probably buy some of that stuff back. So the stuff that I was wanting, Asylum were the only ones crazy enough to be like, fine, like, sure, yes, whatever.
So now looking back, did you make the right choice, or you think you should have took the 400 grand and ran?
I mean, dude, you think about these things, right? Because like P. Diddy, he was talking a good game,
Right.
But that dude's like a shark. So, he's master negotiator. So like I would ask for stuff. I'd be like, hey man, so like for creative control though, how's that gonna work? And he would say, oh, that's something we're willing to share. And then I'd go back and consult with my people. It's like, bro, look, this is what share means for him. It means, he's the label, you're the artist. So what he means by share is they get 51% say, you get 49. If there's ever a disagreement on what the artwork is, what sample to use, what producers, what studio, what artwork, it's going to go their way. So it's not something you share.
They get the final say. So.
Yeah, they're going to have the final say,
Now, did you end up realizing now that it's a major cutthroat business as far as the music industry when they're signing contracts?
Yeah, dude. Sometimes you might be signed to a label and it starts to turn into like a bad marriage where like everybody wants out, So that happens too. Sometimes you might get labeled difficult to work with.
Oh, okay.
One thing I didn't like that I didn't enjoy messing with these like New York labels is it started feeling like a lot of work that you didn't really want to sign up for. Like it started to feel like you have a boss again and just deadlines and paperwork and I'm with your pal. And I was like, bro, I'd rather just do mixtapes. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just be underground. Like, get heard, still reach people. I mean, a lot now with social media, now that's like common.
Right.
To just bypass all that.
Now, when you were doing the music for Chingo Bling, what inspired you to make certain songs? Was something you kind of do with parody? Would you what's your writing process like?
So in the very, very beginning, I was just trying to showcase, my style, right? So basically, I didn't have a big budget. I was like a broke college kid. So I would literally, and it was a common thing because like Slim Thug, Paul Wall, all these people back home, they would do freestyles and they would drop mixtapes, and people were selling these like street albums, basically. Even 50 Cent, when he first started, he was just jacking beats. So I was like, oh, these are like the best beats that are out. I get to rap my way on these beats. And people are familiar with those beats, they're quality beats. Now I get to showcase what I got. So that was like the strategy in the beginning, just to get some traction. And
so you weren't making money off any of those then, because the beats are owned by somebody else, right?
See, man, you're going to get me in trouble, bro.
They're going to come back for the residuals.
Yeah. In 2002, you sold 10 copies at a flea market. You owe me. Pull out the calculator. Nah, we did, bro. Like, it was back in the day, there was like the goal for a lot of rappers at the time was to have a store list, which was basically like a bunch of pieces of paper stapled together where you just had like, all right, in Killeen, there's a Hastings record store. There's a Top 10 Records in Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas. Like, it's just sound waves. Like, all these record stores, mom and pop. Like, you got to remember, I don't know if you recall, but like DJ Drama from Atlanta, they did a big arrest on him because allegedly he was like just moving too much shit, and they tried to make it seem like he was just straight up making copies of people's, like straight bootlegging.
Yeah.
So basically all the artists that were doing business with these record stores, everybody kind of knew, look, man, they send people to the stores and they're just trying to make sure that your presentation looks somewhat legit. Like, they're looking for shit that doesn't have a barcode. They're like, so make sure you put a barcode on your stuff so you don't blow the cover to the record store or you just look like an artist. So we were like scanning, photoshopping like bubblegum barcodes, like a Clorox bleach totally wrong.
Fabuloso.
Barcode. Yeah, Fabuloso barcode. And it just had to have an address and a barcode. So you would make up 1, 2, 3, 4 La Tuya Avenue.
That was the hustle.
You would just make shit up. But with that store list, if you had a good hustle, like, you know, a good team, you know, your family, then you're really making waves. You're getting like publicity. They're interviewing you for a magazine. They booked you for a car show. You've got like a tour lined up. Your merch is selling. Your online merch is selling. Your website is popping. You know, like before the MySpace days. You know, you have a chat room, a forum, whatever the fuck.
Now you were out here for a while because I know one of the homies, his son's a pumper. Atomic Pumping, shout out to you guys. And I think we're bumping one of your songs. You know, always every your new shit come out with, hey, look at this fool, look what he came out with now, right? And then he's like, yeah, I know that guy, man. And I said, what do you know this guy? That fucking crazy guy used to be my roommate. He said he used to be in the kitchen. You'd be doing some crazy skits. He'd walk by and say, this fool's fucking crazy. So what were you doing out here? And I think it was Canogo Park, and then you went to other places, Southern California.
Yeah. So all right. So check this out. So when I was in the movie Philly Brown, with Jenny Rivera, rest in peace, Lou Diamond Phillips, Edward James Olmos, Gina Rodriguez, a bunch of people. So I got a chance to play a role in that movie. Eventually, it went to Sundance. Eventually, it got sold for distribution, and then it went to theaters. So there I was in Houston, like trying to keep my rap career going, and just kind of at a crossroads, like, all right, man, how much longer can I do this shit? And it's like, yo, the movie I was in is going to theaters. So I'm like, what the hell am I doing in Houston? I need to be close to the action. So so the homies, E-Dub and Kool-Aid, Pocos Para Locos, they're like, hey, man, when you come out here, because I'm like, yo, I need to find a spot out there. They're like, look, this is how you do it, man. You land with us. Like, you just touch down with us and kick it at the crib, and then you could just start getting on Craigslist or figure that shit out. Yeah, figure to get you. I don't know.
Get your size
something, right?
I got bills to pay.
Nice. So so I kicked it at their crib for a little bit, like just trying to find a spot, and they're like, hey, we got a homie that has a house out there. Was it Canoga Park?
I think it was somewhere.
It's like going towards Calabasas or something.
Yeah, Canoga.
And so basically, they're like, we got a homie out there. It's like a big house, has a pool, several rooms, and you would basically rent out a room. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what the fuck that's like, but okay, cool. So I guess Tommy was one of the roommates, and it is funny. This funny story. So when I was talking to the head of the house, the dude I was gonna have to pay my rent to, he's like, yeah, he's in the kitchen. He's like, yeah, man, you know, it's pretty chill. Everybody's out working. Everybody's doing their own thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to be here either, man. I'm just trying to be close to the action. I'm in a movie. And then some female walks in. She, like, grabs a drink from the fridge and walks out. I was like, oh, is that one of the roommates? And he's like, no, that's just one of the girlfriends of the guy. But, yeah, she don't stay here. Basically, bro, Tommy and his chick had a room. Right. So he didn't want, the head of the house, he didn't want it to turn into, like, this, hey, man, why am I paying this much? It's two people, whatever. They're shacking up, playing house now. But yeah, so I was there for about 6 months. And then the other 6 months, my homie Kiki has a studio in East LA. And I was like, bro, I'm tired of being way out here. This is not the LA experience. Like, I am in a movie. Like, and plus, like, I'm from Houston, bro. So, like, by the time I moved to East Los, I felt like I was at home. Like, in terms of, like, okay, there's just noise. You know,
right.
Like, especially East LA got a little extra noise. Like, Saturday night, I was on the second floor, and you hearing like bachata, fucking Vicente, some punta over here. You got everything, some cruising down the street, everything, gunshots, like everything. And I loved it there. I had a great time, great food.
How long were you in East LA for?
6 months.
Okay, and then you went back to Houston or what?
Yeah, I had to call it quits,
the
man.
movie career didn't take off, huh?
It didn't pop off like I planned it to.
You thought they were going to see you one time. Hey, we're going to start getting phone calls.
Well, you know what's crazy, bro, is I was getting more feedback from my first 2 Canelo skits that I did while living in East LA. I recorded those in East LA. So I was getting more feedback from some Facebook stuff than my little supporting role.
Why you do Canelo like that? For with the chocomil, Holmes?
Yeah. Dude, I have milked that. We've been doing that for so many years. I know he's probably tired of me.
You ever run into Canelo?
Nah.
He might suck you up, huh, boy?
I don't know. I think he'd be chill about it.
I think he would, too.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. gonna fuck you out.
Oh, now let's talk about how you and I met, Chingo. We met on social media, man.
Yeah. In the chat, in the comment section.
It was in the comment section.
Whose section was it?
You know what? I think it was the homies from Pura Cultura.
Oh, those guys.
They're still. I think they're still upset at you. I think they still.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you ever talk to them?
I left them a comment the other day. They were chiming in, saying like, they were saying something like, we're going to talk about the Yaritza debacle. Yaritza has been canceled because she doesn't like Mexican food, the singer, right?
Right.
And I left a comment on there. I was like, are y'all going to go into detail the way y'all did when y'all talked about Babos Chile from Cartel de Santa? Some rapper. I tuned into one of their episodes. They were going into detail about Homeboy's OnlyFans stuff.
Oh,
they were like, yeah, dude, he's got like these piercings, and yeah, dude. And I'm listening to their podcast. I'm like, oh man, like I tune in on these dudes just to have some smoke.
Oh,
but
yeah, you went in there hot, bro. You went in there hot.
I was going through it, bro. I was copy pasting comments.
Yeah, and I went in there and I was trying to talk to you. You know,
I didn't even read your comment.
Yeah, I'm sure because I just saw it paste. I was like, you know what? This guy, man. I said, I got a platform. Let me go home. I'm driving home. I'm talking to somebody. I'm like, hey, where are you going? I'm going to go home right now. I'm going to fucking bang on Chingo right now. So yes. So I went over there and banged on Chingo and fucking said pretty much, Chingo Bling, man. Chingo Bling's a fucking sellout. Yeah. He used to be the tamale king and this and that. Mm-hmm. It was
I mean, you made some good points. you made some excellent points because you were saying like, look, bro, of all people, like this was your shtick, like you're Mr. They can't deport us all, and you totally gonna do a 180 and so on. So like I totally get it, but like respect to you because a lot of the people who had platforms or podcasts, like I would try to reach out to, you know, as grown man as I could be at the time.
Of course.
And even though I was disrespectful to you, and but you know I called to apologize, but I gave my phone number to like the Pura Cultura people, like just different people, just saying like, hey, bro, like we don't have to debate. We don't have to agree. Like we totally don't have to agree. But just on some man-to-man shit, like, you know, just kind of hear me out just so you don't assume certain stuff. And Gil was pretty much the only person out of all the people, the Pura Cultura, all these different people. I was like, hey, man, holla at me. I hear you saying some stuff. Let's talk about it. Gil was the only one that was like, when I cool off, man, I hit you up.
Pretty much, but it was good because that's what grown men do.
Yeah, here we are.
Exactly.
You could build, you could collaborate, you could cross.
Yeah, it wasn't something where you just came out here and said, "Hey, for the brown people, no." It was just you having your political opinion, but what it was just that it was us seeing, you know, Chingo Bling. It was like Chingo Bling turning into somebody else, and and we couldn't really separate Chingo from who you are as a person. But now that we're on the subject, what was your major change? Because before that you were like full
super lefty.
Yeah, super lefty, right?
Yeah.
And you know I don't like either or. To me, it's like kind of effing both.
Yeah. I feel you. I agree with you a lot. The right has a lot of shit wrong with it, especially the spineless cowards in the GOP. It's just a unit party, man. It's just a purple party.
It's a WWE party.
You said it perfect. Last time I had you zoom into my show, it's like, bro, they're like fucking compadres. A lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of phony shit with politicians. But to answer your question, I went to public school for up to 8th grade. Right. So that's when the indoctrination kind of began, where my opinions were assigned to me. I didn't really, and even then though, think about it. Who did the Republicans have throughout my childhood? I mean, like obviously a lot of people respect Ronald Reagan for different reasons. He's a hero to a lot of people for different reasons. But like the Bushes, what? The warmongers, lying, neocons, and I'm gonna watch what I say because I know we're on a lot of platforms. But not a fan still to this day. Mitt Romney, like I'm a hip hop dude, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, bro, he don't even play the saxophone, man. Bill Clinton, you know what I mean? But like I grew up watching Arsenio Hall, so I was just like a inner city kid, you know, who I grew up listening to rap music and stuff like that. So all that is very influential. Like the Democrats and the left, they're very good at finessing and having connections with like athletes, and like they're always gonna get the cosign in the media. they're real good at messaging, and they know how to kind of finesse all that. And basically, man, even when Trump first came out, I was still like, man, fuck this dude, because I didn't really have access. I hadn't discovered a lot of other different avenues of information or opinions. It was just like, well, what's on TV? What are they saying? Donald Trump is da 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 da. So I had something called TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, where I basically believed all the shit they were saying on the news. Like, this is what he said in his speech. I didn't go listen to his speech.
Right.
I didn't go pull up the transcript. I didn't go listen to the whole speech. I just kind of felt like, I heard he called us rapists and criminals. This is like in the beginning when he
that's where he started his campaign off.
Yeah, when he first, he came down the escalator and he said, we need to do this and we need to do that and we're gonna make lots of changes. And of course I just felt like, I think the people that are telling me that he's talking shit, it kind of do sound like he's talking shit. So I believe them. He sounds like he didn't. I don't know what the fuck this hateful dude is talking about. So even when he won, I didn't vote that year because I didn't really like Hillary either. But when Trump won, I was just like, all right, man, turn the TV off. Let's just go to bed. Like, let's see what all falls apart in the next.
Gonna end.
Yeah, like va a ser un pinche cagadero desmadre. And then, of course, the news was on his ass. Or any little thing, Melania farted, and this, and this bitch, and the daughter, and the son did this, and this motherfucker, the son-in-law did that. And some of that stuff probably is true, like about Jared Kushner. But little by little, I'm trying to think how I kind of got red pilled. So I was listening to this podcaster. He's an author too, a dude named Scott Adams, and he was explaining how persuasion works, how the media works, how the media doesn't necessarily go through all the news and then kind of tell look at what's most important and summarize it and then present it to you for your own good. If that were the case, then we'd already know who was on Epstein Island. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We'd already have all the real answers to what we really want to know. Like what happened in Maui, how you let all them people burn up.
The media nowadays is it's just a show. Before, back in the days, I would say when CNN first began, CNN definitely was like one of the main news outlets that will investigate and try to find out what's going on. Nowadays, CNN is just a Trump bashing news media. MSNBC, I can't even watch that. That is just beyond super woke.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people's just opinions have changed. To me, on during Trump and Hillary, I liked when Trump came in because he just destroyed the game. He was like a new character in the WWE, right? Yeah. But I did vote for Hillary. I voted for Hillary just because I voted for Hillary. Mm-hmm. I definitely didn't.
I voted for Obama.
And Obama was just a copy carbon of Bush. Nothing ever changed as far as policy goes, other than like
he droned the shit out of some people.
Yeah, bro. But nowadays it's changing, man, because even now, I won't say I'm red pilled, but even though people call me a white supremacist, well, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever seen a brown.
I mean, that's how it is, bro. When you're not parroting every single little narrative that they putting out.
Right. To me, right now, if it was okay, I would rather have, if it's RFK, I would vote for RFK over Trump. If it's Trump and Biden, I gotta go for Trump, man. Biden is an old man that can't even have a conversation with you without slurring or saying some way out stuff. But people sit there and say, "Oh man, you're a racist." I'm like, no, bro, this is my opinion. I don't want the old man that can't run this country anymore. Because right now, dude, we're not doing too great.
Yeah, but you know what, bro? Like, props to you because you provide a lot of value because, some people are going to listen to a message coming from you. It's not gonna, like, other people can't reach certain people,
right? Demographics.
So if they relate to you and it's like, man, it's the homie right here. Okay, let me see what he's saying. Okay, he's making sense. But I also want to co-sign what you said earlier. How, like, when I was growing up, CNN had a strong brand. They were like respected because I remember during, like, I think it was like Desert Storm, like the Gulf War. They had cameras out there, and it was like the most trusted name in news, CNN. Yes. It was like breaking news. CNN said it. It's the news. Mm-hmm. Like, it's happening, and they didn't put a lot of spin on it. And then also at the same time, you had Bill O'Reilly. He didn't come across good to me.
Right.
I like all I heard from Bill O'Reilly, I couldn't relate to him, and it just sounded like he just hated hip hop. And it sounded real racist to me when it was just like, oh, Ludacris is promoting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bitch, I was a kid. I'm like, bitch, I like Ludacris. Like, who's this stuffy dude in a suit?
Right.
But like I said, I've evolved, and now I see the nuance. And I think that's another thing that you're helping provide to people, which is like, all this stuff is super nuanced. Nobody is like perfect. Nobody like right now, the way a lot of the debates happen, like in the country, it's all like, well, you're in a cult, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you only believe that because you're a Trumper, and
You're
it's
a
like,
conspiracy
bro.
theorist.
Oh yeah, like one time I was in a green room about to go on stage, and one of my homies, a comedian. Well, it was like his homie. And the +1 is there. He's like, hey, fool, hey, so like you're a Trump supporter or what? And I'm like, damn, bro, why you gotta say it like that? Like, you just put a whole label on it. Like I don't have the hat on, like the red hat, like.
Yeah, you were damn, the Gringo Bling. You
I like that
named
one.
it.
That's a good one.
So, what was the post that got you and got that whole craziness going with the?
Yeah,
you remember?
Yeah, really, what it was is I was tweeting between kind of ¿cómo se dice? Like, you had to kind of read between the lines of some of the shit. Like, if you really were peeping what I was tweeting at the time when I was first getting red pill, pointing stuff out, somebody might be like, this motherfucker right here. But you know, my Twitter was kind of dry. Nobody really said nothing. And they had that Periscope where you could go live on there. So it was like, Lil Wayne had already said he liked Trump. Like, I felt like the coast was clear. I think Kanye, like, it was a couple people that was like, man, we fuck with Trump. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. I'm not gonna get lynched. So I went live on Periscope, and I didn't even say like, I, Chingo Bling, am voting for Trump. I was just saying, like, think about it, guys, you know, yada, yada, yada. And if you know, no new wars, that's a thing, and da-da-da, and trying to kind of break it down, like, but still walking on eggshells. And I know one of the things I said, I was like, man, I said, I'm at the light, and there's this lady next to me, and this truck drives by with the big old flag. And the lady kind of looks at me like, almost like, you know who that is? And I kind of looked at her, and I was like, but in my head, I'm like, 4 more years. Like I at that point, I had done a 180 switch in terms of like, man, I hate Trump. Like, I wrote this 4-page letter. It's still out there somewhere. I could probably repost it, but it's like, dear Donald Trump, like, with the things you have said, you've woken the sleeping giant, and you really did it now, because now we're all gonna vote you out, and this and that, and my TDS was at an all-time high. And then once I started looking at things like, well, shit, it kind of making sense, bro. Like, we do got to bring manufacturing back, and these other countries are taking advantage of us. Like, no, it's good that he's tough to these people. And I'm like, yo, he went into North Korea by himself, no Secret Service, wanting all the smoke. I was like, that's my president. And so the Pura Cultura people, they chopped up my Periscope. So when I was done going live, just kind of saying some things to my audience, like, yeah, man, so, you know, when y'all vote, you know, take some of that in consideration, whatever. So I come back inside, and my wife is like, so how'd it go? You back there for a little while. And I'm like, nah, it was cool. I was just, you know, she's like, well, what'd you say? And I'm like, nah, I was just kind of saying how, like, you know, you got to have national security, and there's sex trafficking kids through the border. So it's kind of good that he wants a wall. That way you stop kids from getting sex trafficked or whatever, right? And she's like, but you didn't say nothing that they're going to, like, take out of context, right? I was like, nah, you'd have to, like, really zoom in and splice out particular words. And I was like, maybe. I'm like, who the hell has time to do that? Pura Cultura had time. And they literally made a little compilation. I literally wake up the next morning, text messages like, hey, bro, I know you're trying to go viral, but I don't think this is how you're trying to go viral. And I'm looking at this page, like all these blog cheeseman pages, like hit pieces. They did an article on this Brooklyn-based thing. I've actually worked with them before, but all of a sudden they did an article. It's like Little Pump, Chingo Bling, and ¿cómo se llama? Tito Ortiz, Latinos pushing disinformation, and blah, 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 blah. I think by then the China virus had already hit. And I don't know if you got to bleep that out. We're not allowed to say that.
We don't care.
It comes from China. That's where it comes from. That's what we're calling it. That's what we're gonna call it, because that's where it's from.
Oh shit.
So el desmadre empezó de ahí.
Yeah, dude. I've been through a couple of those, and I'm sure it wasn't fun. You wake up to the madness.
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
through a
No,
couple
dude,
of-
you were literally in the hot seat like
What?
not that long after me, and
Yeah.
and part of me was like, oh fuck, bro, Gil, man. Gil know what it's like now.
Yeah. Know what? That was a very good learning moment for me. I heard who else? Prayers. Prayer was like, that's good. That's good. Gil is getting that. And that I never took it in a bad way. I took it like it's a good learning lesson.
Dude, you're bigger and stronger now. Like they couldn't put a false, like I knew what it was. Everybody who believes narratives like that, like don't let no one assign you an opinion, especially something so hateful as like racism or anything. Like it's one thing to be called a sellout, you fake, coconut, vendido, malinche, whatever. But like once they start putting white supremacists and racists and you said this word and that word, like y'all can't just be playing around with that. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you got real hateful people out there that really are calling shots and really trying to take certain groups of people out the game, and then y'all jump on somebody who is literally telling a story.
Yeah.
And then my friend said this, and I'm like, man, how you gonna be like that? Da, 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 da. And it's like you're just gonna like cut all that out. Like we have to be grown enough and mature enough to understand how life works. And there's a thing called context. And I think Raza gonna be the last ones to understand.
Yeah, we're
last ones to understand.
because even with this one, you're gonna get hate. You're gonna get hate. People talking shit.
Of course, every dude. Sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
So sorry to cut you off, but I'm gonna say this, bro. Like for example, Willie Barcena, veteran comedian. He's been on Jay Leno's late night show like
Yes.
10 times, like holds the record. Amazing comedian. I was so excited when he hit me up he's like, hey man, I want to have you on my show. And so we're on the same lineup. And every time somebody works with me, I come with a disclaimer. It's in the back of my mind. Should I tell them what comments they're going to get? You know, should I tell them now? Or are they just going to have to see it on their own? So long story short, it literally got to the point where these little troll haters, instead of like cussing me out, they'll go on Willie's page and lie and say, I was literally about to buy 6 VIP tickets. I'm holding my debit card in my hand. But now that I see that this guy's on there, I changed my mind. So now you're trying to play this psychological economic warfare where you're not only attacking me, but now you're trying to like attack anybody who works with me or is associated with me. Anybody takes a picture with me. And that's unfortunate. Thankfully, Willie Barcena was like, bro, we finna sell this show out. Like, he's like, bro, I want to work with you. He's like, I don't even talk politics with you. Like, that ain't got nothing.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No, that's the difference sometimes. Like with me, even I'll go in on guys like with George Lopez. I've gotten on George more than once, right? And even to this day, I say I'm a fan of George. I would not sit there and call for his cancellation. I will not sit there and say, no. Listen, we don't have enough artists as it is, unless it's just some real foul stuff. Like somebody gets caught with a kid or some way out shit like that. Then yeah, absolutely. But I think things are changing. You got people like 50 Cents that are turning the other way. You got what's his name? The guy from the Breakfast Club.
Charlamagne?
Charlamagne.
What is he doing?
Well, Charlamagne the Gods, pretty much. They're all going like towards the trompito train.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
brother.
I must have missed that clip.
No,
Charlamagne seems like anytime somebody like Republican, like they had Vivek Ramaswamy on Breakfast Club, and they just had Larry Elder.
Yes, Larry Elder just
and
got that.
each time they're just kind of like, you know, well, I disagree. Of course, there's racism everywhere, and you know, whatever the subject is. But anyway,
So what do you think about all the indictments that are going on in the Trompito administration? I think this is the 4th one, but this one you got the RICO Act, homeboy.
yeah, dude, the RICO, carnal. That's some gangsta ass shit, boy. Trump got to drop a record.
Have a little Wayne play.
Yeah. First of all, I want to shout out to my people. I'm standing strong, and they hit me with the RICO. Well, you know what's crazy, bro? Trump came out guns blasting, bro. He did a speech, and a lot of people missed it. And I think, I know we shouldn't say this name, but No Jumper posted it. Whoever running that page, they posted it. But it was a piece of his speech he did. after the indictment. So he's clapping back, and he's like, and this woke DA, Fannie Willis from Atlanta, who has so much crime. What a shame. Beautiful city. So much crime. It's gone to hell. It's gone to hell. You know, he's dogging her because he's saying, like, y'all got all this crime, but you coming after me.
Yeah.
And then he says, word on the streets, she was sleeping with the head of a gang. And that's why she targeted Young Thug and the YSL crew. Yes, Young Thug. He didn't say Young Thug, but everybody knew that he was talking about the YSL RICO indictment. So Fannie Willis put RICO charges on both Young Thug, Gunna, and the YSL crew out of the gang, whatever,
Right.
out of Atlanta, and Trump. And from what I don't fully understand everything of what all the charges say. From what I've gathered, it has something to do pertaining to, like, Trump is denying the election results, and he was on the phone saying, find me the votes, find me the votes. I don't care how you got to find them. But basically, I don't think it's going to stick, because it's scary though, because if they don't do like a real investigation, like if it's just like a hit, like a political hit job, like where you're not going to really get a fair trial, that honestly is scary just for the future of the country, because then it just becomes a little back in game, third world country game where
That's what it's becoming.
where you're just starting to attack and lock up your political opponents. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I know some people like to use the argument of like, well, no man is above the law, and it's like, yeah, but what about the Constitution? And you got to start peeping the games that they're playing, because it's not gonna end up well, especially once the Republicans ain't got no nuts. But if any of them over there got some nuts that could do some shit, then that means any DA from any state can start. All right, bet Mayorkas, boom, Texas. We indicting you and Biden because y'all got the border wide open, and y'all letting in fentanyl and perverts mixing in with the good people.
Plus, Hunter's got all that, like with the laptop. They said it was fake. It was Russian glue, and now
The hard drive from hell. That's what we call it.
Everybody knows that was a real thing. You got all this money. I just saw yesterday, it showed that I think Hunter was paying Joe Biden's bills for the last 10 years. Come on, you know what's going on, brother. If that was anybody else, to me, it's like this. If Trump goes to jail, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. Really, I'm not. But to me, is keep it fair. Let's if you want to lock them up, lock them all up. Let's do it that way. Because right now, what it seems is like it doesn't seem it is. They don't want him to run. They don't want him to be president. But did you know this though, that Trump could be president and still he could be in federal prison, bro, as president, and then eventually say, I pardon myself.
Like Nelson Mandela. I mean, like put him in jail like Nelson Mandela and mess around and win.
Well, I wouldn't quite put Trump and Nelson Mandela in the same
Yeah. Well, yeah,
category.
I think Nelson Mandela was like a socialist Marxist, actually.
He's the worst guy. That's the clip they're gonna need for Chingo.
Yeah.
Man.
Chingo Bling denounces Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, but Trump's got case after case after case, but his numbers keep on going up.
Teflon.
You know what? You know what's not swayed my vote with him, but swayed my opinion that people are voting for him. One person in my comment section told me today, Gil, tell me where people are voting for Trump, Latinos. Yeah, I don't believe it. Let me see the stats. I don't need to show you the stats. I have guys at work that I've been working with 20 years. Some of the guys don't have papers. They work construction. And these guys don't have papers, and they're telling me, hey, güey, necesitamos trompa para atrás.
Sí, güey.
Le digo, ay, güey, no chingues, de verdad. No, güey, se la está cagando. Look at the rent. Look at the food. Look.
La gasolina, todo.
Everything, bro. Just look at what's going on. But everybody, it's like everybody makes a excuse for it. To me, at this point, like I said, if it's between old man, and I can't believe he won't step down, bro. What is he thinking?
You said Biden needs to step down?
Yes.
Well, they need to impeach him. But you know what, man? I want to say this. Like, all this stuff is entertaining too, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, but like, this is like my sports. Like, growing up, bro, like we had some fire teams in Houston. I mean, like the Oilers and the Rockets, like Vernon Maxwell, Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Cassell, Kenny Smith, Earl Campbell, Warren Moon, Bubba McDowell, Ernest Givens. Like, it was fire as a kid growing up, and now like this is my sports, and it's fascinating because like the stakes are high.
Yes.
Like, bro, this is where our kids and our not everybody out there. I don't have grandkids yet, but like our grandkids,
Our future.
Yeah, our future, the future generations, and just so many things. It's just the division and the stuff in the school system. Like I literally have to have pep talks with my kids to put them up on game. Like, hey, if they're trying to put something in your head, if something don't make sense, if they're trying to make it seem like this group of kids is all racist and these kids are all victims and they got to apologize, like, or they trying to do all these little pride parades and stuff, and it ain't even, what is it, June, July, whatever. They trying to make it Pride season, Pride year,
Right.
any like
Pride life.
any of those weird books they be trying to put in there. And what really pisses me off, bro, is when you really start to pay attention and like decipher all this, is it trips you out when you start to understand the word games that they play. For example, politicians on the left, they like to say things like, you know, they're banning books. You know, they're trying to ban books. And it's like, oh, motherfucker, don't, like, back up. What books? Like, talk about, what state, what you talking about? Because, like that's a big debate in Texas. You know, that because they want to turn Texas blue. And so every time you, like, I follow Beto O'Rourke. I follow him just to kind of see what type of little games he plays, where, you know, the word games, like these drowning devices, they're using drowning devices. Like, and it's like, bro, they just they don't know what to do because the federal government, you know what I mean? Like, they're getting overrun, you know, like, I took a little trip on the border, on the boat, like on a little boat and you just seeing el desmadre. We're like, a la verga.
Well, look at New York. New York now is complaining because they're overran, and they didn't care before because they're not on the border.
Well, they want a bailout. Yeah. They said they need billions of dollars bailout for migrant care. And do you know how much money they're spending on migrant care? It's more than their sanitation, fire department, and Parks and Rec combined. So you have New Yorkers who are American citizens, New York State citizens, and they should have access. They pay taxes. They should have access to, like, safe, clean parks, you know, the sanitation to run smooth, all those things. And instead, all the hotels are taken up. You got, like, people coming that are entitled, don't know how to act. Not all of them. I'm assuming many are very good people.
They're not all bad hombres, huh?
Yeah, but some, they're not sending their best, and we're becoming a dumping ground for the world's problems. It's very sad, a dumping ground.
Very sad. You gotta say it twice.
Many people say.
It's funny you say that about your sports, because I've been watching politics since I was probably 16, bro. I've always been into politics. My wife hates it. As soon as I get home, I would, like, before it was always CNN, Fox. I used to watch them. Now it's just CNN, Fox, and there's a couple new networks and YouTube also. And to me, like, when November kicks in, especially the one for the presidential, to me it's like it's Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl, bro.
But this is,
it's our time to shine, carnal.
Yeah, right. Hey, but this is what makes. And I gotta say it this way so people understand. This is what makes white people so successful in life. We'll get into, like, how we got into an argument, but we settled it and we talked like men, right? But there's a lot of people that won't talk to you still. They're pissed off at you. And what the Güeros have figured out is when it's time to fight, we'll fight one another. But like the Republicans right now, they're going to fight. They're going to throw mud at each other. They're going to talk. They're going to try to get everybody off the rails, not to get voted in. But as soon as they find that one guy who is the head of the pack and he's going to go up against the Democrat, they're all going to get behind him and support him. We don't. We'll sit there and fight for the rest of our lives. The Güeros, like, even like Germany and the U.S., millions of people died. After that, they're our ally. They shake hands. They do the treaty. We lose one homie, and that's it. We can't. Well, we're gonna fight for another 50 years for one homie. These guys literally lost 1 million people. So they figured out this is for the greater good of all of us, and we're still too stuck in the ego where it's just us.
Yeah, you referenced Fox News, and a lot of people don't know Fox News is owned by foreigners, the Murdoch family. They're Australian. I think they're lefties too, but they're controlled opposition, and I hate when people try to, like, label you and assume and be like, Chingo Bling, where you hear that at? Fox News? Yes. And I'm always like, no, fuck Fox News. I mean, I think Tucker Carlson was cool, but they let him go.
Well, that's why.
Because he interviewed the chief of the Capitol Police, and he was saying, that was a setup. It was nothing but, it was a lot of feds mixed in, and he didn't get to air that footage and that interview, and they fired him. But anyway, they're owned by foreigners, the Murdoch family. They're Australian, and they're controlled opposition. So Anytime Trump has a big rally, they don't go. They don't set up their cameras. They're trying to push DeSantis or whoever's going to be the neocon warmonger or is going to do like that rhino Republican type stuff.
Yeah, but they like that because war makes them money. Everybody's making money. So now let's switch it up a little bit. Tell me the truth, Chingo. Tell me the truth. Don't lie to me right here, Chingo. Who's got the better Mexican food, L.A. or Texas?
L.A. or Houston or
Houston,
or because L.A. is a city, Texas is the whole state. How you want to compare?
Well, I think L.A.'s got better food than the whole state of Texas. Is why.
I mean, okay, so we're gonna compare L.A. Okay, your city alone to my entire state.
I think we got you, player.
Okay, but you sure don't want to do city to city? You want to do city to state?
We can do city to city. What you
Okay.
got?
All right, Houston, Texas. I will say this. This the part gonna get me canceled. Here's my next cancellation. You can't come home, Messi. Stay your ass in L.A., fool, since you want to say that. I will say, I'm not going to lie. And maybe I just need to do more research in my own town. But there is a place in East L.A. I think it's called El Azteca, man. I can't remember what it's called. Las pinches tortillas fresquecitas hechas a mano, bro. And I know Houston might have some of that, something about that corn over there. And then they got café de olla for breakfast.
Yeah.
So I know somebody in the comments like, man, Houston got that shit too, bro. You know, it's a spot over there off Irvington, got that same shit. You just saying that you scared of Gil. Gil 2 feet away from you. You over there fanboying with Gil. Now, Houston is a food city, so we do hold our own in terms of food, but right now we just talking about Mexican food. So, yeah, LA's bigger, bro.
I think
y'all closer to the. I feel like y'all gotta look.
You know what it is? This is what I believe. Why it's more. I think it's more authentic because Texas has such a huge influence from Texas.
Tex-Mex, yeah.
Tex-Mex. So I think that's what it is. When we think Tex-Mex, we almost think not quite Taco Bell, but we think Tex-Mex.
Yeah, a lot of cheese smothered. Yeah, San Antonio. And you know what? That's like a San Antonio thing. See, you lucky you didn't include the whole state because down by the border, like in the our Rio Grande Valley,
right,
it gets real authentic because you're right there. But you know what? Shout out in Houston, man. Shout out to like Tostada Regia. We got some fire food trucks.
You guys got barbecue.
We got some fire food trucks too. But sometimes, man, like I don't know, man. Tamale King might have to come out of retirement.
That Tamale King.
Might have to come out of retirement, man.
Hey, when'd you come up with the Tamale King?
That was like my first real album was called Tamale Kingpin. The way I came up with the title is, see, now you could post something on social media and come up with a cool caption, right? And that's like, oh, he made a statement. Damn, fool, put that on a shirt. You know, but back in the day before social media, that's how old I am, is you would have to make flyers, posters, like you would have to express yourself and get those slogans out different ways. So I had made this poster that I put up at flea markets, and I was just like introducing myself. So the artwork was crazy. I think it was promoting one of my mixtapes at the time, but at the bottom it was like the Tamale Kingpin coming soon or something. And I saw people's reaction where they're like, bro, Tamale Kingpin, like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that don't even go together. Like, Kingpin, like it's drugs. And I was like, okay, I need to name my first album that.
They don't know the hustle's real, homeboy. Yeah. You're about to catch the Rico for slanging too many tamales, homes.
They about to hit her with the Rico.
Hey, you know Tropito's going to get, what's the name, right? He's going to get an actual, supposedly, allegedly, he's going to get a mugshot. The sheriff of Georgia said, over here, we take mugshots.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a great T-shirt right there, homeboy.
Dude, you know how iconic that's going to be? Especially for people that, see, it depends, right? People that see him as, look, despite whatever they say about him, he really, really does love America. He does truly. Obviously, some people see like, nah, he's greedy. He grew up rich. He don't really care about the people. But a lot of people feel like, look, man, he's the only one standing up to the establishment and really calling it what it is. And really, if you really pay attention, he's been right about a lot of stuff. Like there's one example is he was out there in one of those like United Nations type meetings, and he was telling Germany, he's like Angela Merkel. He's like, you got to be careful. You're getting spoiled with that cheap Russian gasoline.
Yes.
He said, we could provide you gas, especially where I'm from. We're sitting on top of oil. I mean, America in general, we have so much petroleum. But anyway, he told Germany, y'all are about to get checkmate by Putin and Russia. Like, y'all's whole infrastructure of your fuel, your power, your fuel is your economy. Fossil fuels is our whole civilization. If you don't have that, you don't have national security. And he said, right now, Russia got y'all by the nuts because y'all getting spoiled with this pipeline. Y'all getting that cheap Russian gas. And pretty soon, it's going to bite you in the ass. And they're like...
They laughed at him.
Sure enough, what happened?
Yeah, we went to war with Russia, and Russia did exactly that. Yeah, and they're hurting. Yeah, a lot of people just... What it is with Trump, dude... And that's why I hated his fucking guts. Just the way he does the message. But at this point, it's like, all right, this manager's an asshole. This manager's incompetent. Yeah. I'm going to take the asshole so we can get our business keep on going. The one thing I will say that Trump screwed everybody on that a lot of people don't know is the tax breaks. He gave huge corporations big tax breaks. He gave citizens tax breaks, but they were only for like a year, and after that, it's gone, and the corporations still kept their money. So he's definitely for the rich, but then again, every single politician's for the rich, right?
Yeah, I got a list of shit that I don't like about him. He has a bad habit of hiring people that are backstabbers. Like his vice president he had is such a little piece of shit. Excuse my language. Mike Pence.
No, but he did Mike Pence dirty.
No, Mike Pence. No, I live.
Hey, he put a hit on Mike Pence. If you don't do it, everybody. Yeah. Mike Pence is a coward.
You're a coward.
No, he did Pence dirty, bro. Trump's a major scandalous vato in the pinta, homie. He'll get you whacked, homeboy.
Yeah, it's a couple things, man. He pushed the jab so much, man. He loves bragging about, Operation Warp Speed. It saved many people. Got the jab, and he just be pushing that jab, and he was kicking it with the heads of the pharmaceutical people. Come up here,
of course,
Johnson and Johnson.
Big money, bro.
Yeah.
Big money. Oh, I just saw this. I just finished a documentary yesterday. A Painkiller.
Oh!
That was major, huh?
Woo! How many episodes is it?
It's only 6.
Okay.
Where you at?
Bro, I don't know. My wife pressed play.
Yeah.
I think we watched can I tell you what part we're on?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Is it all one movie, one continuous story?
It's one continuous story.
Okay, I'm on the part. This is the part I'm on. Spoiler alert. The dude that hurt his back, and he got hooked on the Oxycontin.
Yes.
And then he started... This motherfucker bit his finger at Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
And then he
didn't feel it.
And a la verga, he bit his finger at Cracker Barrel, had blood, and then I think that's when they started upping his dose.
Yes.
But you know what? I want to say this before I forget. I recommend y'all watch that Painkiller. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
So when you watch this, you'll see how we shouldn't really be trusting our medical system all that much. You really shouldn't trust your pharmaceutical system and the doctors that much, because they show you how the Sackler family of the Purdue pharmaceutical company, how they finessed all the loopholes of FDA. Like you be thinking what's FDA approved? It's FDA approved. FDA. They went through it. They tested it. Bro, they start showing how they do the experiments and how they cheat the data.
Play with the numbers. Oh no! Wait till you finish it, bro. I was like, I was lifting my mouth up. I said, "Are you kidding me?" Here
they were slanging heroin.
They were slanging heroin, and they're still slanging heroin. They're still to this day. That is definitely a must watch. So let me change it up a little bit here. Let's talk about Chingo Bling, the family man. Mm-hmm. Your daughter, the youngest one, how old is she now?
2. She just turned 2.
Damn, it went quick. I just remember saying, your baby again. So you got what, 3 girls?
Yeah, 3 daughters.
3. Yep. Damn, you're on with nothing but ladies in the house,
That's it,
huh?
bro. I'm outnumbered.
So, how different are you from when you had your first child and now that you got the third one? How do you?
Oh, dude, I don't know if my parenting skills. I was gonna show you a picture. I don't know if my parenting skills have gotten better. I think they have, but my little one, my 2-year-old. I flew out this morning, and my wife was like, if she asks for dad one more time, he's like, Dad, where's dad? And she does sign language, too. She's like, Dad, papi,
that's a new thing.
Apá, dad. And it's like que me busca. But, my 15-year-old, when she was little, I think I was still a good dad, but I was just, young, chasing this rap dream in the rat race and no balance in terms of like knowing how to also kind of not, it's not just rap Chingo Bling, make it hip hop show, what's the next show, you know, it's not all that all the time. So I've matured a lot, dude. I turned 44. Don't let the Just for Men fool you. Don't let the Just for don't let the Just for Men. This right here is Sharpie. It don't connect right here. This part here is Sharpie.
Nothing major.
Yeah, this is a little. Como se llama? Mascara right here. No, I turned 44 like in a week, bro. So yeah, I've definitely matured a lot.
I think you started appreciating it much more because now that I'm a grandfather, and especially my wife, you can tell her with the grandkids, you start appreciating it much more. You know that they're not gonna stay babies for long. They're eventually gonna say, I'm going with my friends. I'm not really too worried about you, right?
Yeah.
So is that what that's what you're going through?
Yeah, and I still have time, a little bit of time left with my 15-year-old, but like that clock is ticking of like, dude, pretty soon you'll be, a grown woman, young lady, independent, like on your own type of thing. So yeah, you just try to mold them and arm them with the tools so that they can navigate this crazy world.
So which one of them is more like Chingo Bling? Which one is more like the mom out of three of them?
Two different moms. Also.
Okay.
15-year-olds from a previous relationship.
Okay.
So far, man, my 5-year-old, she's like the little class clown. Like she's the one that, like for example, she was in my wife's stomach while I was touring comedy, and my wife is my manager.
Right.
So at that time she was really like on the road a lot. So even after she was born, like she was having to like go in the green room, like everybody out. I got to pump the milk. And we're going through TSA with like breast milk, and they're like, we need to check it. And it's like, it's fucking milk, bro. But anyway, she was in my wife's stomach and she would kick every time they'd be like, give it up for Chingo Bling, whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so she'd kick, maybe it was the noise, but we used to always joke around. We used to tell our buddy Jerry Garcia, a comedian from HP. We used to tell him like, hey bro, you never know, man, she might be a female comedian when she's grown. He's like, yeah, she might be the first funny one.
Little low blow.
Jerry, shout out Jerry Garcia.
So how is it having your wife as a manager? Does it ever get in the way? Like, man.
Well, she's really good at it, and we work well as a team. So
That's dope.
Yeah. So anytime we get on each other's nerves, it's not really from the manager perspective. It's something else. Like, you need to pick this.
You know, pick about yourself.
Yeah. Like
I think all those men have the same one.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you want me to do that? While I do, you just told me I'm going downstairs to get the batteries for the thing, and now and who gonna watch the baby?
Hey,
So.
but one thing it is with women, man. Especially if you got a good woman, and you do, they keep us grounded. They keep us grounded when sometimes we want to act a fool or we're not doing something right. They get that little nudge and say, "Hey, man, you're tripping." Is that your experience?
Yeah, and she didn't bend or fold when like the incoming, like when you're getting attacked on social media.
Okay.
And I don't know how you felt when you were going through it, but
major.
you were in my prayers, brother. Like
you.
you were definitely in my thoughts, and I didn't want to like bother you and call you, text you, nothing, because I knew you were just like in the eye of the storm.
Jeez, yes.
But I was watching from afar. When you're getting bombarded with comments and you don't even know who these people are, you don't know, like in my case, you don't know who you arguing with. But most, I'm not gonna say most women, but like with that amount of heat, a lot of women are gonna not know how to take that pressure, and so it takes a lot for them to like be hunkered down with you. Like,
Yes.
Okay, I don't know when it's gonna stop. I don't know when it's gonna cool off. It's like it's incoming. It's just like arrows, all the arrows, and you're wanting to fight the world. You wanting to defend. I'm like, man, that's not even what it was. That's not what I said. That's not how I meant it. And you're trying to like fight the world, and when you have that strong backbone, of a female in your life that can be steadfast and have a good strategy. Like, look, we got to stay focused, eye on the prize. We don't know if the career's over because of this. We don't know if I mean, there's literally like comedy clubs and stuff that, you know what I'm saying? They know who they are.
Pretty much banned you.
I got a little evidence.
Really?
And we're
Pretty
gonna wait. We're gonna wait. But yeah. But anyway, that's when they try to play economic warfare. But anyway, my point is this: I just want to give props to my wife and all the strong women out there who got their man's back and keep God first and
Amen.
understand like no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And just sometimes you need somebody to watch your back and be strong where you're not.
Amen, man. Amen. So now that you're doing the podcast, how'd that come about?
Shit, I'm trying to get like you, bro. I'm trying to. Yeah, I ain't got these blue lights in my shit.
Well, come on, I'm trying to be like Chingo, carnal.
Nah. Hey, congrats. Hey,
Thank
man,
you.
y'all keep supporting American Cholo Gil. Keep supporting the channel. You ain't got to agree with everything he says, man, but y'all got to see what he's doing and what level he's doing it at and his intentions. So make sure y'all support him. But yeah, man, I have a couple podcasts. So we've been trying to figure out stuff because, when you're juggling so much stuff, it's difficult to stay consistent, especially like when you got little kids.
Right.
It's like, how do you make like your content, your shows work around your life? So one of the things we did is my wife and I, we do cafecito time. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, we just go live from the house. And we broadcast everywhere. It's just a bunch of like cell phones and stuff like TikTok, Instagram, boom, 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 YouTube. And that's been going really well. And then, of course, we have like Red Pill Tamales, which, we have a real nice community with the Discord, the Patreon. And it's just like a solid, it's almost like a little gang, bro. Like it's a solid
Clica.
Yeah, it's a solid clique of individuals to like in all these markets, you got people that's like, hey man, I got you, pull up, whatever. So anyway, that's Red Pill Tamales. And that show was born when the controversy started. Chingo Bling a sellout. So I lost some people, understandably so. But then I gained a lot of people who said, like I'll give you one example, and he's a member of the TIA, the Tamal Intelligence Agency, the TIA. They standing back and standing by.
Ah, shit.
So this homie, Gabe, his parents are from the same town my parents are from, Villahermosa, Tamaulipas. So he and I are both from Houston. Our parents are from the same place, and when I was coming up in the rap game, he's like, yeah, I was supporting you. He's like, but then you started doing all that un-American stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, all that they can't deport us all stuff. He said that to me was un-American. And he said, I wanted to back you up because we're from the same place. He's like, but I couldn't. And he said, now I'm back. You know what I mean? So you gain people and new people discover you. And at the end of the day, man, you got to be true to yourself. And,
yeah, for sure.
And regardless of what I say, my intentions are good. Like for example, people sometimes want to be like, well, your beliefs are bad for la raza, bad for minorities, stuff like that. And it's like, actually, based on the math that I did, based on the calculations and how I see things, this is better. Like the way I vote or my views or whatever, it's going to be better for us. Like, it's going to make don't you want a better economy? Don't you want a strong dollar? Or, like, the whole world is de-dollarizing.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
America's credit went from AAA to AA. All the treasury bonds that other countries buy from our government, like, this countries in Africa, Japan, China, all these countries, they buy these American bonds. And now they're sitting there looking at us like, y'all's leaders are printing too much money.
Yes.
Y'all are inflating y'all's money, and we don't want to be stuck with the hot potato. So why should Nigeria suffer? We got to worry what's best for Nigeria. So they like, oh, sorry. So they're kind of like, man, I got it to the edge though. So they're basically like, why should we go down with y'all's dollar? But anyway, my point is, and I guess I'm speaking for Gil too, but like what we say, even though it may not even coincide sometimes, what we're saying is based on what we truly, truly feel is best for everybody.
Of course, yeah. And that's like I said from earlier, that we get stuck too much on one thing, and we're never going to agree on everything because we're not robots, right?
Correct.
And what we're doing, at least, is we're having the conversation. We're putting out that this is what we believe is right. But the problem a lot of times, especially when it comes to the left, is it's either you agree with me or you're a racist, you agree with me, or you're a coconut, you agree with me, or I'm gonna insult you, right? Yeah. And they're always the people that talk about inclusion and everything else, but those are just code words for you better agree with me or I'm gonna label you something. Mm-hmm. And with that, Chingo, I wanna thank you so much, man, for coming on, sharing your story. You know, just being the guy who you are, homie. We started off in a rocky place, but it led us to here, man. I want to appreciate you coming on. Let people know where your shows are gonna be and where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Hit up the website chingobling.com. Chingobling.com. Get your tour tickets. Chingo the merch. Chingo the merch. We got a lot of cool stuff, man. We got coffee on there. A variety of stuff, but we appreciate the love, and I want to meet you in a city near you. We don't have to agree on everything, but I guarantee you we could come together, have some drinks, have a laugh.
There you go. With that, people, we are out, and we'll see you later, alligator. Let's go, Chris.
Nice.